In Fallout 3, there's a lot of different ways the player can kill an enemy, whether it be through guns, explosives, or even companions. But what if you wanted to use only a single companion for the entire game? In today's video, we'll be finding out if you can beat Fallout 3 using only Dogmeat. After attending my own birth, I chose my sex, named myself accordingly, and got on with the tutorial, which means baby steps, a brief lesson in pest control, and avoiding enemies at all cost. Now let's talk stats. 9 intelligence for skill points, 6 charisma for a better chance at passing any speech checks, and the rest stayed at 5. Tag skills were lockpick, science, and speech. My reason for this was I really needed to get experience points from something other than killing enemies, since Dogmeat would be doing that, and when he does, the game doesn't reward the player with XP. So by picking locks, hacking terminals, and passing speech checks, I could replace the lost XP. I also planned to sell scrap metal and disarm traps as often as I could. Outside the vault I hit level 2, increasing explosives to 25, repair to 25, which would actually become 30 with the utility jumpsuit I snagged from the vault, and speech to 39. With these I could disarm Megaton's bomb, repair the pipes, and hopefully pass a few speech checks, also choosing the Swift Learner perk for that 10% increase to any XP. My first stop was Springvale, picking any locks I could find, and heading for the scrapyard, attracting the attention of 3 raiders along the way, which I managed to lose just outside the scrapyard. Approaching the area where Dogmeat spawns, a grenade went off, killing 2 of the raiders. The third Dogmeat killed, I said hello, and we became the best of friends. This is actually a good time to talk about Dogmeat's health. Without the Broken Steel add-on, Dogmeat's health is 500, and it won't change for the entire game. But with the add-on, Dogmeat's health is 500 per level, and he starts at level 5, meaning that he's already 5 times stronger than he used to be, and each time I level up beyond level 5, he would gain another 500 to his health. As you can imagine, by the time the player reaches level 30, Dogmeat is quite formidable, but without killing any enemies, it would be very difficult to reach that level. Also, Dogmeat's health regenerates, but if you want, you can hurry it along by using a stim pack. The choice is yours. With that said, I looted the bodies, including Dogmeat's previous owner, and went to Megaton to disarm the bomb, fix the pipes, and hit level 3, increasing speech, also choosing the second rank of the Swift Learner perk. From here I went to the Craterside Supply to speak with Moira Brown, agreed to help her research, and started with the food and medicine from the Super Duper Mart. Outside the store, Dogmeat killed 2 raiders like it was nothing. I was actually surprised by how good he was. Perhaps this challenge wouldn't be as much of a nightmare as I first thought. Among the raiders was the body of John. I took his key and went inside. All I will say is watching Dogmeat stalk the raiders and walk away from a 3-on-1, not once, but twice, was really something. After getting what little XP I could, I returned to Moira with the food and medicine, and this is where she rewarded my efforts with a food sanitizer, a useful item that increased the amount of health food and drink gave. And since the stim packs were reserved for Dogmeat and crippled limbs, food was my go-to item in regards to healing, so this was really helpful. Moira then wanted me to get irradiated and return for some tests. This was easy. After drinking my body weight in dirty water, she patched me up, which also gave me an interesting perk, Rad Regeneration. When suffering from advanced radiation, crippled limbs automatically regenerate, something I could use for a different challenge I had in mind. The last thing Moira wanted was a live frag mine, and for some reason she wanted me to reach the playground at the middle of a town called Minefield. I fast traveled to the scrapyard, which was very close by, used John's key for some skill books, and told Dogmeat to wait outside the town. I didn't want him setting any of them off. Alone, I disarmed what I could for the skill points, made it to the park, and ran away as Arkansas began shooting. With that done, the first chapter of the Wasteland Survival Guide was complete. Moira gave me some stimpaks, and I hit level 4, increasing sneak, and choosing the third and final rank of the Swift Learner perk. I could have continued on with the Wasteland Survival Guide, but decided that the length of the quest wasn't worth the XP, and went to Moriarty's saloon to speak with Lucy, who wanted me to take a letter to her family in Arafu. The reason for doing this quest is it really isn't that long, it can be resolved peacefully, and afterwards I would be level 5, the same level as Dogmeat. So after that we'd level up together, and he would slowly become stronger than he already was. Dogmeat killed a lot of things on the way to Arafu, mostly his own kind, but he didn't seem too bothered by it. Outside Arafu, Evan King tried to kill me. I checked on the residents, discovered the West family had been murdered, and then went to track down the family, the group of killers harassing the town. With Dogmeat by my side, I went to the Northwest Sanaka station, stopping off at the grocers nearby for some food and a little XP. Underground I met Murphy, agreed to help him make Ultrajet, gave him my sugar bombs because I thought, like scrap metal, each piece would grant me some XP. It didn't, but he did let me use the sewer grate to reach the metro tunnels. Down here, Dogmeat once again surprised me. The Mirelurks were stronger than anything he'd faced so far, but his health barely dropped. Navigating through the tunnels, I disarmed all the traps I could and made my way to the family. After passing several speech checks with Vance, I convinced Ian to go home, got Vance to protect Arafu in favour of free blood packs, and bought all the scrap metal I could from Carl. After delivering the good news, I hit level 5, increasing sneak and speech, also choosing the comprehension perk since I had collected several skill books and had yet to use them. Back at Meresti Station, Vance showed me the way of the vampire. This gave me the Hematophage perk? Hematophage perk? Does it matter? From now on, blood packs would give me 20 HP instead of 1. A vast improvement, and having any extra health I could get that wasn't from stimpaks was greatly appreciated. Now at level 5, I decided to get on with the main quest, stopping off briefly to sell the scrap metal to Walter. I didn't get as much as I would have liked, but every little helps. The journey to Smith Casey's was uneventful. I met 2 Wastelanders gawking at an Eyebot, and Dogmeat killed a Protectron. Smith Casey's and Vault 112 went as you would expect. Dogmeat killed the enemies, I got a Vault 112 jumpsuit, and Dogmeat took a break while I went inside the simulation. One failsafe later, I was back out. Dad thanked me for rescuing him, I declined his offer to go to Rivet City and hit level 6, increasing lockpick, science, and speech, also choosing the Child at Heart perk. If you don't tell Dogmeat and what I assume is every companion to start following you again after the simulation, they won't. I was almost above ground when I noticed Dogmeat wasn't with me, so I retraced my steps and told him to come with. From there we fast travelled to Megaton and started for Rivet City, then stopped to disarm the frag mines outside the Anchorage Memorial. It didn't go well. Outside the memorial, Dogmeat took on 3 Talon Mercs and lived to wag his tail. On my way back across the bridge, I noticed Dogmeat had vanished. It turned out he had crossed the river to kill a centaur. With no other choice, I joined him on the other side, he cleared the mutants, and I took the credit. We then travelled past Dukov's place, killed the Christmas Raiders, and sold some items to the scavenger beneath the Francis Scott Key Bridge. After that I thought about sneaking past the mutants, but it didn't look like it would work, so I jumped into the river, and for some reason the enemies jumped in too. I have no idea why, but once they were in, they couldn't fight. I was only using Dogmeat, so I couldn't do anything, and he was too busy splashing the mutants to do any damage. Through all this, a centaur was spitting from the side. I know it's unlikely that the centaur would have killed Dogmeat, but I was still worried. I was pretty much helpless, so I did the only thing I could. I started pushing him to shore. It seemed to be working, but Dogmeat thought it was a game and started pushing back. So I teamed up with the mutants, and this seemed to work. Kind of. As soon as he was out, he did what most dogs do and jumped straight back in. It took a long time, but Dogmeat did kill a super mutant, and after getting sick from swimming for so long, I ran away, hoping that Dogmeat's invisible lead didn't break. Thankfully, it didn't, and we were finally on dry land. With that fiasco over, we made it to Rivet City, killing the mutants outside the memorial along the way. I checked in with Flak at the marketplace in the hopes of buying a radiation suit. There wasn't any, but I was sinking points into lockpick, so I figured the one inside Vault 87 would do the trick instead. In the science lab, Dad spoke, and the scientists followed. At the Jefferson Memorial, Dogmeat just couldn't get enough of these mutants. I did some free labor, and the Enclave arrived. I was curious to see how Dogmeat would fare against the soldiers. I jumped down, and Dogmeat somehow teleported to the floor above. I ran as fast as I could, making it just in time to witness Dogmeat kill the soldier. Things were going well. Dad committed suicide, and Dr. Lee took me to the sewers. The ghouls beneath the memorial were no problem, and I'm embarrassed to say that Dogmeat did a better job of looking after 5 people, myself included, than I did with 4 people and the Shocker. Outside the Citadel, I hit level 7, increasing lockpick, science, and speech, also choosing the Thief perk. There wasn't that many perks that helped me on this run, so it was more of choosing the few perks that increased the skills that I was using, mostly lockpick and science. Inside the Citadel, I received power armor training and the location to Vault 87. Fast traveling to Smith Casey's, the closest location to Little Lamplight, Dogmeat did the killing and I did the leading. At Little Lamplight, I used the Child at Heart perk to get inside. Once in, I got Joseph to turn on the computer and we finally made it to Vault 87. I hit level 8, rounding skills to the nearest 10 because it made me feel good. Also choosing the Educated perk. Truth be told, the mutants weren't really a problem. Sometimes I could distract them while Dogmeat killed them, other times they weren't interested in me, but Dogmeat took the damage like a champ. We ignored Forks, unlocked the door to the radiation suits, and grabbed the Gek. Celebrations were cut short by a flashbang, and Eden told the grumpy man to leave me alone. I also hit level 9, increasing lockpick and science, also choosing the Daddy's Girl perk. Now, Dogmeat, along with other companions, don't come with you to Raven Rock, and unlike the other challenges, I couldn't do any damage, so my only choice was to run. Anna Holt lived to die another day, and Eden forced me to take the vial of FEV. I almost didn't make it out of here alive. Almost. Outside the base, I half expected Dogmeat to be waiting, perhaps following my scent to the base or something, but he wasn't, and after fast traveling to Vault 101, Dogmeat and I were reunited. We went to the Citadel, delivered the bad news, suited up, and hit level 10, increasing lockpick and speech, also choosing the Scoundrel perk for the first time ever, because why not? Liberty Prime was fired up, and we stormed the memorial. Dogmeat was unstoppable, and it wasn't long until we were at the Rotunda. This went as well as I could have hoped. I couldn't attack. Sarah Lyons was knocked unconscious, leaving Dogmeat to kill Colonel Autumn and the 2 Tesla soldiers. I wasn't surprised to find out that Dogmeat couldn't activate the purifier. I mean, that would be too perfect. So I said farewell to the best boy I've ever seen, activated the purifier, and the run was officially complete. So, to answer the question, can you beat Fallout 3 using only Dogmeat? Yes, you can. Be sure to show your support by liking the video and subscribing if you haven't already for more Fallout content. If there's anything you would like to see in a later video, leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. With that said, thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.